Welcome inside the latest edition of Trailblazer Weekly. As always, I'm your host, Keric Seegmiller. This week, we've got so much going on that today's episode is more of a Trailblazer Weekly Express. We'll take a look back at last week's results and highlights, then jump right to the upcoming games and a player profile feature with men's soccer junior Bryan Baugh. We'll continue with our coach interviews next week on the show. So there's no time to waste. Let's get this going. Trailblazer Weekly starts now. We start the show today with football as the Trailblazers return to Legend Solar Stadium on Saturday for the first time in 3 weeks, with an opportunity to snap a 3-game losing streak. The task at hand was a tough one as Western State Colorado entered the game with a 3-1 record and had just knocked off a nationally ranked team in Colorado Mines the week before. The Mountaineers boasted the best running back in the country, but the Trailblazers were not intimidated. After a scoreless first quarter, both teams scored touchdowns in the second quarter. Dixie State scored first on a 33-yard touchdown run, but the Mountaineers answered. Clifford Sims then scored a 45-yard touchdown run. The PAT fell, and DSU led 13-7. And once again, Western answered, this time to take a 14-13 lead into halftime. The Trailblazers regained the lead in the second half, scoring on a short run by DeJon Coleman, then converting a 2-point try to make the score 21-14. The Mountaineers responded with another touchdown, but this time it was their turn to miss an extra point, and Dixie State stayed in front at 21-20. The Trailblazers iced the game late in the fourth quarter when Blake Barney, in his first appearance of the year, found Aubrey Reed in the end zone for a touchdown. Reed made a spectacular catch to seal a 28-20 victory for the Trailblazers. The win moves Dixie State to 2-3 overall record and a 2-2 mark in RMAC play. Now, before we move to our next sport, let's take a look at a few impact players from Saturday's game. First of all, we look offensively, and there was lots of guys in this game that we could have talked about, but we focused just on 3. Blake Barney offensively, 10 of 18 passing, 101 yards through the air and a touchdown, also 75 yards rushing in a game that he came in. It was his first game of the season and really took that offense over and led them to victory. Defensively, senior linebacker Garrett Hutnick had 9 tackles, 2 of which were for loss, and a lot of those tackles came early, and he was very instrumental in slowing down Western State running back Austin Eckler in helping Dixie State get to the victory. Special teams, Corey Stens, he had 5 punt attempts, averaging 47.4 yards per punt. 3 of those punts were over 50 yards. He pinned 4 of them inside the 20 and 2 of them inside the 5-yard line, and that performance landed him RMAC Special Teams Player of the Week honor. So there you go, your football impact players of the week: Blake Barney, Garrett Hutnick, and Corey Stens. Great games by those guys. We'll see who the impact players are this next week. We move now from the football field to the soccer pitch as the men's soccer team hosted Fresno Pacific in a rematch of last year's conference championship finale. Of course, Fresno Pacific won that match last year, and the Trailblazers were looking for some revenge on Saturday. And while Dixie State didn't waste any time making it happen, Gabby Medina put the Trailblazers in front just 1 minute and 50 seconds into the match, slotting the ball past the keeper after taking a pass from Dominic D'Amato. Dixie State added a goal in the 49th minute when Bryan Baugh headed home his first goal of the year from 5 yards out after a Medina corner kick to give Dixie State a 2-goal advantage. Fresno Pacific got one of the goals back 9 minutes later and pulled even at 2-2 early in the 81st minute, but Dixie State answered with 5 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in regulation as Moises Medina took a feed from his older brother Gabby and tucked home the game-winning goal from 5 yards out. The win marks the 6th straight victory for the Trailblazers as they now sit in first place in the Pac-West Conference with a 4-0 undefeated mark in conference play. Now, just like football, let's take a look at a couple impact players for men's soccer, and they're brothers. You have Gabby and Moises Medina. Gabby earning Co-Player of the Week honors in the Pac-West, and Moises earning Freshman of the Week honors. Gabby, of course, scoring 1 goal and assisting on the 2 other goals against Fresno Pacific, and then Moises Medina scoring the 3rd goal, the game-winning goal against Fresno Pacific in that 3-2 victory on Saturday. Gabby and Moises Medina, your men's soccer impact players of the week here on Trailblazer Weekly. The women's soccer team also welcomed in Fresno Pacific in the nightcap of a quadruple header on the Dixie State campus on Saturday. Junior forward Darian McCloy scored twice to help lead Dixie State to a 3-2 victory over Fresno Pacific at Legend Solar Stadium. The win was Dixie State's second straight overall, moving the Trailblazers to 4-5-0 on the season and 2-2-0 in Pac West play. Now get to the game. The Sunbirds opened the scoring at the 24:55 mark on a penalty kick to take a 1-0 lead. Dixie State evened the match 10 minutes later when senior Megan Spencer scored from 8 yards out off a feed to the right wing from freshman Bailey Kroll. Then, just before halftime, McCloy took a two-touch combo from Capri Goldsmith and Liz Newman and beat the Fresno Pacific keeper one-on-one to put Dixie State on top at 2-1 at the intermission. McCloy struck again late in the 72nd minute as she took a centering pass from senior Erica Gonzalez and fired home her team-leading 6th goal of the year from the top of the penalty area to stake the Trailblazers to a 3-1 advantage. The Sunbirds added another penalty kick late in the match, but the Dixie State held on for the 3-2 win. There you go, 3-2 win for both soccer teams on Saturday night, and we get to our impact players for the women's soccer team. And this time it's an impact player, and it's no question here, no surprise here. Darian McCloy, 2 goals in the win over Fresno Pacific, powering the Trailblazers to that 3-2 win over the Sunbirds, and that performance earning Darian the co-player of the week in the Pac West, earning those honors. And it was a big week for Dixie State in football and soccer, both on the men's and the women's side. Lots of player of the week honors. You can read all about those at dixieathletics.com. The volleyball team continued its homestand over the weekend, hosting Chaminade on Saturday and Notre Dame de Namur on Monday. Dixie State rallied from a 23-21 set 1 deficit by scoring 6 of the final 8 points of the stanza to take the opening set by a count of 27-25 against Chaminade. That served as a wake-up call for the Trailblazers as they began the second set on an 8-2 spurt and were never challenged in the frame as Dixie State took it 25-15 en route to a 2-0 lead in the match. Chaminade tried to extend the match in set 3 as the Silver Swords led for almost the entire stanza, including a 19-17 advantage late in the frame. However, the Trailblazers would not be denied of their 7th sweep of the year as Dixie State closed the match with an 8-3 run to salt away the victory. Senior outside hitter Delane Daniel led Dixie State with a game-high 12 kills and 13 digs to post her 4th double-double of the year, while sophomore Taylor Duryea connected for 10 kills and hit 400 for the match. Dixie State hit 278 and collected 38 kills to go with a season-high 12 service aces, including a career-best 4 aces for Delane Daniel. So that was the victory over Chaminade. The Trailblazers then turned their attention to Notre Dame de Namur on Monday. Dixie State jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the match after taking sets 1 and 2 by identical 25-18 counts. Set 3 featured a seesaw battle between the two sides before the Argonauts scored 6 of the final 8 points of the frame to break a 19-19 tie en route to a 25-21 win to pull to within a set at 2-1. The Trailblazers then made quick work of NDNU in the decisive 4th stanza as they scored the first 6 points and never looked back as Dixie State closed the set and match with a 25-14 triumph. Taylor Duryea led the way with a season-high 19 kills and a career-high tying 14 digs, while Lindsey Garrett added 13 kills to go with 7 digs and a game-high 7 total blocks. Trailblazers remain undefeated at 6-0 in Pac West play, tied now for first place in the conference with California Baptist. The women's golf team hosted its annual Dixie State Fall Invitational Tournament at Sand Hollow Golf Course on Monday and Tuesday. Dixie State posted a 9th place overall finish at the 3rd annual Fall Invitational, which wrapped up play Tuesday afternoon at the Par 72 Sand Hollow Golf Course in nearby Hurricane, Utah. The Trailblazers shot the 3rd best team round in the program's brief 5-year history on Tuesday with a combined score of 12 over, which was 16 strokes better than Monday's opening round, but Dixie State could not gain ground on the field and finished with a 2-day team total of 40 over, landing them in 9th place. Your top finishers: Katie Perkins led the way for Dixie State, finishing tied for 2nd place with an even par performance over the 2-day event, and Colbert Collinsworth finished tied for 7th place at 4 over. The women's tennis team opened its fall schedule last week with the ITA West Regional Championships in Azusa, California. Lacey Hancock recorded the only Dixie State win at the event, but fell in the 2nd round after a match lasting nearly 3 hours. The women's tennis team will play its first dual matches of the season this week. We'll tell you where and against who coming up next in the show. It's time to take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look ahead at the next week in Trailblazer athletics, and we'll also hear from men's soccer junior Bryan Baugh. Don't go anywhere. There's more Trailblazer Weekly after this.
are you? Superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
There is a place where looking out means looking in, where an impression lasting only a few seconds will be imprinted on a life forever, where courage is forged and innocence rediscovered, where remembering is rewarding and forgetting unforgettable. There is a place where truth is felt and where seeing is believing. There is a place. There is a place where the sun doesn't hide in the winter, where the greens stay green and the crimson canyons still glow. There is a place where dimples determine destiny, and a tiny wooden tee holds the outcome in the balance. There is a place where we drive for show, putt for dough, and settle the score with another round. There is a place.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Weekly. It's time now to take a look ahead at another busy week in Dixie State athletics. We start with later this evening, a Thursday women's tennis match at Colorado Mesa University. Of course, the women's tennis team at the Colorado Mesa Maverick Duels, and that will have them in Grand Junction on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They're the lone event in Dixie State athletics on Thursday with that match against Colorado Mesa University, a 6 p.m. match on Thursday. Moving into Friday, the schedule gets a little bit busier. Women's swimming with their first official event of the program's history at Dixie State with the PCSC Pentathlon hosted by Biola University, and that will start at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Friday. Then women's tennis has two matches on Friday in Grand Junction, this time taking on Colorado Christian University at 8 a.m. and then later in the afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Again, as I mentioned, women's tennis in Grand Junction for the 4 matches in 3 days as part of the Colorado Mesa Maverick Duels, and they will be in action again on Saturday, and we tell you when now as we take a look at Saturday. A busy Saturday in Dixie State athletics. Men's and women's cross country back in action with the SUU Color Country Invitational in Cedar City. The women's race will start at 10 a.m. and the men's race will start at 10:45. Of course, women's swimming still going at the PCSC Pentathlon hosted at Biola University. Women's tennis will have its final match of the Colorado Mesa Maverick Duels taking on Colorado State University Pueblo in an 8 a.m. match in Grand Junction. And then volleyball, the only home event for Dixie State on Saturday, will host Azusa Pacific in a 12 o'clock noon matchup at the Student Activities Center on the campus of Dixie State University. If you want an opportunity to see Dixie State at least for another couple of weeks, it's your last chance, as this will wrap up a 5-game homestand for the Trailblazers on Saturday. Continuing with Saturday on a busy schedule, you've got men's and women's soccer, the first game of a 4-game trip in Hawaii, taking on BYU Hawaii. The men's team will start things off in a 4 p.m. Mountain Time matchup at BYU Hawaii. The women's team will then have their match at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time in that one in Hawaii at BYU Hawaii. And then the football game, the Trailblazers trying for their second consecutive victory in Chadron, Nebraska, the first ever meeting on the gridiron between Dixie State and Chadron State. That game is at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. That's so a busy Saturday, and we'll have lots to catch you up on next week on the show. No events on Sunday, so we move ahead to next week, taking a look at Monday. Couple of events for you there. Men's golf will be in action at the RMAC 2 tournament hosted by Colorado Mesa. That will last most of the day. We'll have those results for you next week. Men's and women's soccer also in action at Hawaii Pacific. The men's match will start things off. That'll be a 4:30 p.m. kickoff time for that men's match, and then later a 7 p.m. Mountain Time start time for the women's at Hawaii Pacific. Moving into our final day of the next week in our look ahead, Tuesday, October 11th, men's golf will have day 2 at the RMAC 2 tournament at Colorado Mesa. Again, that lasting most of the day on Tuesday. We'll have all of these results for you at DixieAthletics.com over the weekend, as well as on Trailblazer Weekly next week. Again, another very, very busy week, and we'll have plenty to talk about next time on the show. It's time now for our weekly player profile feature, this week with men's soccer junior Bryan Baugh.
My name is Bryan Baugh. I'm from Henderson, Nevada. I'm a major in criminal justice. I'm a center back on the men's soccer team. I played soccer since I was about 3, for as long as I can remember. And honestly, it really never was my passion growing up. I always played baseball in high school, and soccer was kind of just the second sport until my senior year of high school, and then that's when I decided to play college soccer. Definitely my parents. They always push me to be better. They never let me be complacent. They always want me to be the best that I can, always work the hardest, always push me to achieve new heights. Definitely winning. There's no feeling that can compare to when you win a game after, that high you feel. And the teammates too, that family bond that you have, it's incredible. There's nothing else you can ever replace that with anything. Sergio Ramos, he's the center back for Real Madrid. He's my favorite player. I love how aggressive he can be and also composed at the same time. I try to be as relaxed as possible. Some of the other guys like to get hyped up, listen to music and whatnot. I like to joke around and be loose and have a good time before the games. Someone that always puts the team first. Whatever I can do to help the team win has always been my main goal in soccer. Whether it's been on the field or off the field, I've always tried to put the team first. Sand volleyball. I love playing sand volleyball. Me and a couple of the guys on the team always go and play with the girls volleyball team and our other friends from the girls soccer team. And it's pretty much all we do when we're not playing soccer. My favorite spot's definitely the soccer field. It's definitely made the most memories since I've been here and the best friendships. I would like to go back to Las Vegas and be a cop for a little while, and then maybe the FBI or SWAT team. My name is Bryan Baugh. Come out and support the soccer team. We appreciate all our fans out there. We hope to have a great year, and thanks for all your support.
Another great profile feature here at Trailblazer Weekly. We look forward to Bryan and the men's soccer team having a great season in 2016. Right now, men's soccer leading the Pac West Conference in first place. Well, that will do it for today's show. We thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next time on Trailblazer Weekly.